This is one of my favorite parts. So you guys get to predict the future. What do you expect in 2024?
Look, there's been a lot of talk about micro-targeting and the ways that candidates are going to try to reach the voters. I predict, however, that one of the tried and true pieces of presidential campaigns will endure, and that there will be at least one televised debate between the Democrat and Republican presidential nominees.
Which would be standard fare.
It would be, but despite
but it's very much uncertain.
But it's very much uncertain right now, given concerns about the Nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates.
Yes.
And the willingness of the potential nominees as we currently imagine them. Yeah.
But if it's Biden and Trump, they can't help themselves, and they'll want at least one go at it.
Anything's possible this year. Nikole, what about you?
Well, if former President Trump ends up being the Republican nominee, I predict that he will pick a female running mate. And there are a number of females that are being talked about, female lawmakers, whether that's Elise Stefanik, whether that's Nancy Mace, for instance. You have Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It makes sense, potentially.
Nome, possibly.
Kristi Noem, another one, governor of South Dakota. So there are a lot of options, remains to be seen, but I think there potentially will be a woman on the ticket.
Mike Pence, not the running mate.
No, not the
reasons.
running mate, no. So my prediction is kind of 30,000 foot. I think we're going to look back at 2024 as the year when our relationship to social media changed fundamentally as a country. Not only economics, politics, conversation. Up until for the last 10 years, I think our net idea about it was ubiquitous and positive. I think in 2024, it will be still ubiquitous, but net negative. And elites are pulling away from social media platforms. There's more concern about children being on too much distraction, too much data scraping, too many privacy concerns. There will be, I think, behaviorally, a pulling back and a reassessment of social media and all of our behaviors and patterns.
All right. And this year we have a new idea, which is to try to find something good and something positive.
It was hard.
It's, you know, for people at home, it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming for us in this industry as well, the amount of change. And what a difficult year it has been.
Yeah.
Ed, do you have a glimmer of hope?
Took a few days, Margaret, I'm not going to lie, but I did come up with a story that I was reminded of that happened here in the Washington region to some extent. There's a guy named Don Scott who is poised to become the Speaker of the House of Delegates of Virginia next year. He would become the first African-American man to hold that position, but more importantly, he'd be the first former felon. He went through the process in Virginia of getting his record cleared, and it was cleared by a former Republican governor, became an attorney, got elected into public office, and now has risen through the ranks of the state legislature to serve in that role. Set his partisanship and the other history aside, it's just nice to see somebody given a second chance to do something and to try to do it in the public realm.
New beginnings.
Bob and I both spent a lot of time at the beginning of this year in Georgia, in Plains, Georgia, more specifically, when we got that scare about former President Jimmy Carter when he entered hospice care, and the fact that he was able to make it for the better part of this year, made it to his 99th birthday, made it to the Peanut Festival in Plains, Georgia, and obviously the tragic news of his wife's passing, but even made it to that trip in Atlanta to watch her memorial, I think is just a testament to his strength and his grit, and continues to be an inspiration for a lot of Americans.
Continues his public service in many ways. Major?
My positive story, my good news story is forbearance and the power of concessions. We had two gubernatorial elections in 2023 in Kentucky and Mississippi. The Republican in Kentucky lost, conceded, wished his victor well. In Mississippi, Brandon Presley, the Democrat, lost, wished his Republican well on behalf of the state, and they both conceded willingly, eagerly, and importantly, wished their opponent well on behalf of their state. That is a fundamental strength of our democracy. It's coming back. It needs to be encouraged everywhere it's seen.
Bob?
I'm hopeful about younger people in this country, teenagers, college students. So often they're portrayed in the media, frankly, as people who are addicted to their phones, living on TikTok and Instagram. But when we're on the campaign trail, we're often encountering younger people who are attending events, who are knowledgeable about politics, following their civic culture in wherever they live. And I'm hopeful whenever I meet some of these younger people that not everything is going to be negative, that the younger generation does care. But we just got to listen to them.
It's the only way democracy continues to function, if you continue to participate in it.